Before I say a few words, I do want to thank a number of folks who really helped get us to this point to about to see pension reform after 6 long years signed into law. First, I want to give the governor the credit he is due. He stood up at the end of last session and said, I want to make pension reform a priority, I want to separate it from the budget, and I want to get a bill signed into law. And to the governor's credit, he has been a man of his word, and we greatly appreciate his leadership over the last 6 months in helping us to get here, Governor. Thank you. I also want to thank the leadership in the Senate, particularly Senator Corman and Senator Brown, our leadership team led by Speaker Turzai. I also want to thank 2 of our members who, from a rank and file perspective, have worked very, very hard on pension reform for a number of years, Representative Warren Camp, Representative Mike Tobash, and also our State Government Committee Chairman Darrell Metcalf, who worked very hard to shepherd pension reform through the State Government Committee and through the House floor just last week. We couldn't have been here getting this pension proposal moving forward had we not had cooperation amongst all 4 caucuses. As several of the speakers had alluded to, working with Leader Costa and Leader Dermody has been a pleasure throughout this process. And there are a number of staff members, and I want to mention 3, who I think really worked very hard to bring this deal to a close within the last couple weeks. I want to thank Mike Brunell and the governor's staff, Scott Sikorsky and Senator Corman's staff, and Todd Brasiak on my staff, who spent, I think, too many evenings, too many weekends, and too many thoughts for the last 6 months trying to bring this to a head. So those 3 individuals in particular deserve a round of applause. There are really 2 sides of pension reform. One side is getting out from underneath the unfunded liabilities, and in all honesty, there's only one way to do that. We pay our bill. We pay the bill for commitments that were made decades ago that we, unfortunately, are those who have to pay down those commitments today. And as the speaker alluded to, we've been paying down those commitments on schedule, on time for the last 6 years, and we're committed to leading the charge to continue to do so until each and every dollar of that unfunded liability is paid down. The second side of pension reform is restructuring the deck, restructuring the system so that we make sure that we don't have this problem again in the future. As Leader Corman alluded to, most of the members who voted to change our pension system last week were not part of the problem or were not here when those problems were created years and decades ago. The flip side of that is most of the members who voted to change our pension system last week will not be here to reap the rewards of those changes decades from now. Because pension reform is not about a short-term budgetary fix. It's about a restructuring of the system that ensures that next time our economy takes a hit from a national perspective, we don't create tens of billions of dollars of debt within that system again. Pension reform, the signing of this bill today by the governor, is about one thing and one thing alone. It's about making sure that those who come after us are not faced with the same difficult decisions that we've been faced with for the last couple years. So again, I think this is a prime example of what public policy making is supposed to look like. All 4 caucuses, both parties, and the governor coming together to do the right thing, not just in the short term, but in the long term. So with that, it is now my pleasure to turn the bill over to the governor to officially be signed into law.